Welcome to the Deep Dive. Today, we're diving deep into artificial intelligence in research and development, specifically how it's really shaking things up in drug discovery and clinical trials.
Absolutely. It's not science fiction anymore, is it? It's here now, driving innovation.
Definitely not. So for this deep dive, we've gathered quite a range of sources. We're talking patents, pharmacokinetic studies, guides on anti-cancer drug development, clinical trials.
Right. Regulatory affairs info, even organic process research literature. A real mix.
Exactly. And our mission really is to figure out how AI is actually, influencing each stage, from finding targets right through to optimizing trials, and maybe uncover some surprising bits along the way.
Sounds good. Where should we start?
Okay, let's unpack this. Starting at the beginning, target identification and drug discovery.
Right. Traditionally, finding a good target, well, it took a long time. Sometimes it was just luck.
Yeah, serendipity played a big role.
But now, AI can chew through these massive data sets, genomics, protein structures, disease info, much faster.
To pinpoint potential drug targets with, way more precision.
Exactly. Much faster, much more targeted.
And we're seeing companies built on this, like Inoplexus. You mentioned them.
Yeah, Inoplexus is a big global player. They're heavily into AI for discovery and development.
And the patents prove it, right? Over 100 since 2017.
Big filings in the US, China, EU, and importantly, mostly in computer technology.
That really tells a story, doesn't it? It's about the algorithms, the AI platform itself.
Yeah.
They even have one called OntoSite.
OntoSite, yeah. And it's got ISO certification for information security, which is crucial given the sensitive data they handle.
That patent activity alone just screams commitment to AI.
It really does. And then there's Adamwise. They developed their deep learning tech, AdamNet, way back in 2012.
AdamNet focuses on structure-based discovery, right? Like virtual molecular docking.
Sort of, yeah. Using AI to predict how small molecules will bind to a target based on 3D shape on a massive scale.
And they're collaborating with major pharma Janssen, Eli Lilly, Sanofi.
Right. Biomotive, Hanso Pharma, too. Using AdamNet to find targets and develop candidates, especially on oncology, infectious disease, immunology.
Tough areas. And they even spun off a company, X37.
Yep, back in 2019, focused on specific targets in cancer, blood disorders, immunology. So AI insights leading to focused development.
Okay, so AI helps find targets and initial molecules. What about screening those huge libraries? High-throughput screening, HTS.
Right, HTS. Testing thousands, even millions of compounds quickly to find those initial hits. AI makes this whole process much more efficient.
More efficient how? Faster. Smarter analysis.
Both, really. It's not just about speed, it's about pulling meaningful signals out of all that noisy data, identifying patterns maybe a human wouldn't spot.
Gotcha. And I saw something interesting in the sources about combining AI with NMR, nuclear magnetic resonance.
Oh, yeah, it's fascinating.
Yeah.
Ligand-based NMR methods can actually screen compound libraries directly, even mixtures.
Directly, so you don't have to separate everything first.
Exactly. You can identify binding ligands just by their NMR signals. Skips a whole laborious deconvolution step.
That sounds like a huge time saver.
It absolutely is. A big boost for efficiency in finding those early hits.
Okay, so you've got hits. Now you need to understand why they work. Structure-activity relationships, SAR.
Right. How does the molecule's structure dictate its biological activity? AI and computational methods are becoming indispensable here, often paired with experimental techniques like NMR.
So NMR techniques like NOE or STD, they can show exactly which parts of the drug molecule are touching the target protein.
Precisely. Mapping the binding epitope down to the atomic level almost. That's gold dust for medicinal chemists trying to optimize the molecule.
Making it more potent, more selective.
Exactly. And the sources even mention things like spin labeling to find other binding sites on the target, maybe for drugs with more complex action.
And all this structural data feeds back into the AI.
Yes. That's the key synergy. The experimental data trains the AI models, making them better at predicting how structural tweaks will affect the drug's properties. Really speeds up optimization.
Okay, makes sense. So optimize structure. But then you need to know how the drug actually behaves in the body. Pharmacokinetics, PK, and ADME.
Right. Absorption, distribution, metabolism, excretion, you absolutely have to predict these. How does it get in? Where does it go? How's it broken down? How does it get out?
Critical stuff for dosage, side effects, safety.
Everything. And AI is getting really good at helping predict these ADME properties.
Our sources mentioned a specific liver model, The well-stirred Venus equilibrium model.
Yeah.
Sounded complex.
Yes. Yeah, the name's a mouthful. But the core idea is about how efficiently the liver clears a drug from the blood.
And it depends on only the free drug getting into liver cells.
Exactly. The drug not bound to blood proteins.
Yeah.
The formula you saw just relates liver blood flow, how much the liver extracts that free fraction in blood, and the liver's inherent ability to metabolize the drug, its intrinsic clearance.
And AI can help predict all those different factors based on the drug structure.
It can certainly help model and predict them, yes. And we also see molecular interaction fields being used.
What are those exactly?
They sort of map out how a molecule feels its environment, its interactions, useful for predicting discovery properties, but also ADME.
And understanding metabolism is vital because of drug interactions, right? Like gemfibrozil inhibiting that P450 enzyme.
Right, cytochrome P450-2C9. Gemfibrozil is a potent inhibitor, and other drugs like fluoxetine or lansoprazole are metabolized by specific P450s. You need to know this stuff.
To avoid dangerous combinations if someone's taking multiple meds.
Precisely. That's why studying drugs with intact hepatocytes, liver cells in the lab is so important.
Because they have all the relevant enzymes.
Yeah.
CYP3A4, CYP2C isoforms.
Exactly. It's the most complete in vitro system. You feed that data into AI models, you get a much better picture of real-world metabolism.
And this helps predict those drug-drug interactions. I saw a rule of thumb, I-key ratio.
Yeah, the inhibitor concentration over the inhibition constant. If it's low, like under 0.1, interaction's unlikely. Around 1, maybe. Over 1, probably.
And AI helps predict those values, flagging potential issues before clinical trials.
That's the goal. Identify risks early.
Which leads us perfectly into preclinical development. Testing in labs, in animals, before humans.
Right. And AI's predictive power for PK, ADME, and even potential toxicity is hugely valuable here, analyzing all that preclinical data.
Helping choose the best candidates to move forward. The sources mentioned NCI's cell line screens and those human tumor xenograft models.
Yeah, standard tools for evaluating anti-cancer efficacy preclinically.
But it's all heavily regulated, right? FDA, ICH.
Absolutely. Preclinical tox studies have strict guidelines. Ethical treatment of animals, data reliability, it's non-negotiable. You're looking for any sign of trouble before you dose a human.
Makes sense. So if a drug passes preclinical, it's on to human clinical trials. Another place AI is making inroads.
Definitely. Optimizing trial design is a key area, like calculating sample size.
Using AI to figure out the minimum number of patients needed.
Yeah, to get a statistically meaningful result without exposing more people than necessary. It's more ethical, more efficient.
And what about those adaptive trial designs? They seem increasingly common.
They are, especially in phase 2. Things like pick the winner, where you focus resources on the most promising arms early on.
Or seamless phase 3 designs.
Right, where you can roll straight into phase 3 if the phase 2 data looks strong enough. AI could be incredibly useful for analyzing the incoming data in real time to make those adaptations robustly.
So AI helps analyze data during the trial to adjust the design.
Potentially, yes. Clinical trial design is already this iterative process between statisticians and doctors, often using simulations beforehand.
Computer simulations to test different designs.
Exactly. AI could supercharge those simulations, explore way more options, find more efficient designs. But you still need that detailed protocol, drug, dose, randomization, everything clearly laid out.
Okay, shifting gears slightly. What about actually making the drug? Organic process research and development, OPR&D.
Ah, yes. Scaling up the chemistry. Crucial, complex work. And maybe surprisingly, AI is starting to impact this too.
How so? By analyzing literature.
Precisely. Think about all the published papers, patents, reports on chemical synthesis. AI can mine that data for trends.
Trends in reaction conditions. Optimal solvents. Predicting scale-up problems.
All of the above. Imagine AI analyzing hundreds of papers on, say, temperature screening in specific reactors, or different solvent systems used for similar reactions.
To find the most robust, efficient conditions for manufacturing this new drug.
That's the idea. Our sources even had examples like finding a unified solvent system, one solvent for multiple steps. AI could potentially help identify those opportunities by analyzing vast data sets.
Streamlining the whole process. What about crystallization? That seems critical for the final drug form.
Hugely critical. The solid state affects dissolution, stability, formulation, everything. AI could analyze OPR&D data on different crystallization parameters, solvents, temperatures, seeding.
To predict the best way to consistently get the right crystal form.
Exactly. Optimizing that final crucial step using data-driven insights.
Fascinating. And of course, all this happens under the eye of regulators.
Indeed. Navigating regulatory approval is a huge hurdle. AI might eventually assist in analyzing guidelines or preparing submission documents.
But the agencies make the final call.
Always. And good manufacturing practices, GMP, are fundamental to ensure quality and consistency in production.
Right. And you can't claim a drug is safe or effective before it's actually approved by, say, the FDA.
Absolutely not. Promotion is strictly regulated pre-approval.
So looking ahead then, what are the really big future potentials for AI in R&D?
Oh, I think we'll see even faster discovery timelines. AI models will just keep getting better, integrating more diverse data.
And personalized medicine?
Yeah.
Tailoring treatments?
Yeah, definitely. AI-driven patient stratification in trials, figuring out who will respond best to which drug based on their specific biology, genomics.
That sounds transformative. What about safety after a drug is on the market?
Another huge area. AI analyzing real-world evidence, electronic health records, adverse event reports, potentially spotting safety signals much faster than we can now.
Integrating all these data types, genomics, proteomics, imaging, clinical data.
Yes, getting that holistic view of disease and drug response, that's where really deep insights could come from.
Which leads to the big question, doesn't it? As AI keeps learning, will it become the, I don't know, primary driver of pharma innovation?
It's a profound question. What would that mean for medicine?
It's certainly a lot to think about, but what's clear now is that AI is already impacting every stage.
No doubt. Accelerating discovery, optimizing preclinical, clinical stages, informing manufacturing. It's pervasive.
We definitely hit some aha moments today. Those Inoplexus patent numbers, the specific Adamwise partnerships, even AI predicting optimal crystallization conditions.
Yeah, it gets down to very specific applications. It's not just a vague concept anymore.
And it's important for you, listening, to think about the wider implications.
Yeah.
Right? The ethical considerations, the practicalities.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
How do we manage this powerful technology responsibly?
If you want to dig deeper, maybe look into AI applications in specific diseases. Alzheimer's, maybe.
Yeah.
Or how regulators are adapting. There's tons out there.
For sure. And it leaves us with that final thought. As AI evolves, will it fundamentally reshape not just drug discovery, but the very future of healthcare delivery?
A future that seems to be arriving faster than we might think.